Burnaby is a mid-suburb within the Vancouver metropolitan area and is known historically as a starting point for immigrant populations within the region, particularly refugees. For vulnerable people, it is one of the first opportunities to hear others speaking their language since landing in Canada. Its connection to the city of Vancouver via the SkyTrain and a wealth of public amenities has developed it into a strong community. Its stock of ageing mid-rise apartments has lower rents compared with unit size, allowing it to be home to a multitude of lower-income families.
As a suburb of Vancouver, displacement in the city represents contemporary third-wave processes of gentrification, expanding geographically from the central city aided by transit-orientated development. Grassroots resistance to gentrification provides another perspective to a heavily victimised population that have direct experience with displacement. While residents have generally participated in the processes shaping their neighbourhood, the unique backgrounds of residents in Burnaby make this less overt, requiring different approaches.
Overall, the grassroots organisations active in the area work towards the same goals through different strategies. Key voices include the BC chapter of the International Tenants Union Acorn, a local community outreach centre, Burnaby Neighbourhood House, and a more radical example of anti-gentrification action, Alliance Against Displacement. Critically, they all refer to the rapidly changing landscape of Metrotown in particular, and the stark contrast between old and new buildings, representing the rent gap and the rising social and economic stratification in the region.
Broadly, the three different groups stress the role that the Mayor and Council have had in areas of building and investment in Burnaby. In contrast to the formal spaces of politics, such as the City Council, which was noted as inaccessible to households without cars, grassroots organisations connect with directly affected residents in community-orientated spaces, including Burnaby House, religious venues and open public space. They all aim to establish relationships with each other that represent wider interests of the neighbourhood, such as environmental groups and the Public Service Workers Union.
However, there are stark differences evident between the grassroots resistant groups in terms of their theoretical basis and approach to activism. Acorn is an international union called Canada's biggest poor people organisation by active member Murray Martin. Its strength lies in active membership and engagement with the formal political process at the municipal scale. However, this can also be perceived as a weakness. Some of their main measures against the council include raising awareness by door knocking, holding meetings with residents and building campaigns from those issues. Alliance Against Displacement, on the other hand, has had more focus on direct action, with experience working in the downtown east side. They have gained significant media attention in the province through occupation of public buildings for up to 12 days, using the opportunity to make contact and raise awareness with the public. Stop Dem Evictions Burnaby began as a collaboration between Acorn and AAD. However, the disagreements on how activism should be approached led to a split, as AAD are intensely critical of engagement with bourgeoisie politics. They include their activism within a wider critique of capitalism, imperialism and the free market. They are criticised for using more radical leftist philosophies that residents may not find relevant to their struggle. Burnaby Neighbourhood House, as a community-orientated organisation, puts affected people in touch with a plethora of other groups and resources and avoid involving themselves in formal politics.
The audiovisual landscape in Burnaby remains littered with intense active building sites. However, the situation is potentially looking up. Housing was the key point during the last City Council elections in late 2018, resulting in the ousting of long-time Mayor Derek Corrigan. This development has given new hope to the community, though some more radical voices like those in AAD remain sceptical. No new development permits have been granted, and current dem evictions are continuously pushed back. However, there has been no good news for families already displaced.